Dan RadioStyle. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. This one's going to be on action and how action is involved in law of attraction. So for those of you that are out there that really, really believe that law of attraction happens without action, that you just think about it and just imagine these things and then just sit back and boom, stuff just starts to show up on your doorstep. Kind of like calling Amazon. I guess that's how I see it, right? Like, you know, you're imagining, you're doing your imaginal work. I'm going to imagine my car. I'm going to imagine money for a house. And I'm imagining my SP. Done my imaginal work for the day. Go plop myself down on a recliner. Sit there. Ding, dee, 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 ding, dong. Oh, hey, cool. Open up the door. Oh, hey, hi, specific person. Yeah, come on in. Have a seat. I was just waiting for you to show up. And then sit back down at your chair, and then all of a sudden you're like, ding dong, and you're like, oh, hey, cool. 1 second, specific person, I'll be right back. I think this is something else. And you open up the door, and there's a dude with the briefcase, or a dudette, and they hand you $1 million and say, yeah, I think this is for a home you're trying to buy. I don't know, whatever. Here's $1 million. Have a great day. And as you're saying goodbye to that gentleman, you see a car carrier pulling up to your house with a brand new Mercedes-Benz on it. And you're like, yeah, pretty much how I figured this would all play out. So for those of you that believe that law of attraction is completely like that, this is probably not the video for you. It tends to frustrate some people. Some people are very, very of the understanding that it is completely an attractive thing, that you will not have to do anything. All you got to do is imagine it and you can create it. If you're nervous about talking to someone, don't worry. Law of attraction will take care of that for you. I don't buy into that. I play the numbers, right? So I'm going to say, yes, that happens to some people, some of the time, very rarely though, hardly ever, almost never, but it does happen, and you'll find examples of that all over the place. So, again, if you don't want to get into action, I understand that. Coming from my understanding of it, the way I practice it, and how I've seen it play out, not just in my life, but in many people's lives, action is involved. In fact, we call it inspired action typically because a lot of the times that's one of the biggest questions is, when do I act, right? A lot of us are like, well, how do I know I'm supposed to act? Because we just got done berating them with text messages, and we understand now with self-love that we probably were being a little needy. So you're like, all right, well, I'm a little nervous about texting, right? Because last time I overdid it. So how do I know when it's okay to text? Or how do I know when it's okay? So we're going to take a look at this kind of from a couple angles. And again, the reason this is coming up, I've had so many comments, so many things in emails, a bunch of stuff. And like whenever it's just onesie twosies even, I'm like, well, it's probably worth talking about. This has been like a dozen plus, like a lot of examples of people that in my mind, manifested what they're trying to manifest, but required a skosh, not even a lot of effort, a tiny bit of effort. And they didn't want to do it or didn't do it. So they accomplished their manifestation. They made happen a situation where it was going to progress their situation together forward. And it required a small step by them, albeit maybe one that was a little nerve-wracking. I might have to talk to him. Oh no, I'm seeing this person that I really want to see and be with. Like, that's, oh my God, butterflies. Yeah, totally. That's good. Couple examples, and I'm not trying to pick on anybody that's been out there, but it's two examples that really stood out. So it helps paint kind of where I'm coming from at it. And then we'll, I guess, kind of back into it, if you will. So the one example, and again, I've brought you up a couple times, sweetie, and I apologize. And I'm not saying your name, and it was a comment in a video, and it's nothing bad on her part. If anything, I want to actually point out that this is a success. You successfully accomplished it. And that, as I said in her comment, next time this happens, do this. Take advantage of it. Well, actually, the second one's the one I did it to. The first one, I think I kind of was like, hello, like that's what you wanted. First one was lady, I think pulled, it's on the side of the road, pulled over for whatever reason, right? And her specific person like pulled up behind her, like parked behind her and saw in the rearview mirror and they made eye contact or whatever. And she was like fumbling to try to drive away. Fortunately, her fumbling failed and he walked up and had a conversation with her. Her SP, this is what she was after, but she tried to get away from him. Again, action. There needed to be a discussion. We needed to have this moment. This is what you've been, man. You literally got him to park his car right behind yours. Wow. That is beyond success. That's what I was just saying at the beginning of this. It's not going to just show up at your doorstep. Well, okay, sometimes it does. Sometimes it does, but you still got to sort of do something. Now, the other one, this is the one that kind of gets me a little bit. And one, it's because I've worked very hard to get over embarrassment as a whole. And I know some of you are probably like, huh? What? I was very shy as a child. And I am a very introverted person. I'm still very inside my mind, inside my head. But you get me in front of people and I can socialize. But I didn't used to be like that. And it took some getting used to. It took some just kind of opening up and being free. It took some getting used to saying stupid stuff. And having a bunch of people go, really? Seriously? It's like, oh yeah, that wasn't too bright, was it? Sorry. Let me go back to what I was doing. In fact, I was in a meeting recently and I said something, well, I don't know. I still don't know. But at the end of it, it was kind of like I was going down the wrong path, right? It was where I was at with it. And I'm like, oh, sorry, everyone. I misunderstood there. Let me be quiet. Go ahead. Adults, continue talking. Like I was the child at the table. You've got to have a little self-humiliation, right? So anyway, sometimes, you've got to come out of that comfort level. So the one that got me, really, and this is a beautiful story again, manifestation success. This is a success. This is what a lot of us experience, I'm guessing, because of how many comments. I just have to multiply affect it, right? So this happens to a lot of people. And what is occurring is she was in a room. I want to say it's a cafeteria. Maybe I'm going to change the the story a little bit just because I don't remember all the little details. But I just remember the important part. But she's basically in a break room or something like that. And the dude, her SP, walks into the break room, walks by her, does something with his cup, blah, blah, blah. He's in there and then sort of looks at her and then zoom, walks out. Literally looked at her and then walked out of the break room. She was trying to manifest a conversation with him, but in her mind, he needed to talk first. What I'm saying and what I said to her is, whoa, okay, first off, you just manifested him. You just manifested him. Now, next time this happens, when he's there, all you got to do is just go, hi, how are you? Your smile and any of these interactions, for those of you that are scared, the first major power thing you have, and the thing that's going to win them over, because they've already got an inkling of something, because you've been doing law of attraction work. There is a seed inside of them. They are aware of you to a degree. Not sure what degree. A lot of you are going to hit me up with questions and comments, I'm sure, on that. Well, to what degree does he like? Because he said hi to me this one day. I'm like, I don't know. You kind of weigh in a lot of things, but he's definitely got a spark. You have done a lot of energy work that has created energy within him. I promise. There's something there. And it's probably even conscious to a degree. He's probably noticed you. He probably thinks you're cute. There's something going on, or thinks you're handsome, of course, because I've got guys in my thing, right? You've got this worked out. They've got attention. So the next time, smile. Single most important little expression, smile. It's an acronym that someone made up years ago, and I thought it was brilliant. Smile. Your smile is powerful. You don't understand it. And follow up with something along the lines of hi, hola, ¿qué tal? Something. I don't even know how to. Bonjour. Something. Say hi. Pick a language. Say hi in whatever language. I'm drawing a blank on all the other languages, especially for my friends in Europe are probably like, you Americans. You're right. It's I sort of barely speak Spanish like I'm a 5-year-old. That's about as bilingual as I've become. So these situations are going to pop up in our life. You're going to need to act. You need to act. It makes me think of kind of, and I don't want to get too nerdy because there's a lot of you that may not, and there's a fun little game I play that's kind of into space, and there's a lot of SpaceX stuff going on, a lot of crazy stuff. They're actually auto landing craft. It's amazing, right? One of the coolest things about putting things into orbit and then orbiting like the moon, for example. So first you get it out around Earth, and you kind of get it going around Earth. And then at a point in the orbit, opposite the moon basically, you have to give effort. You have to give thrust. And what that thrust does, or delta V they call it, it causes your orbit to go out and further, and eventually it'll intersect with where the moon's at. And you stop thrusting, and you go and you start going up towards the moon. Now, this is what I consider law of attraction. You've done the effort down here by the planet to do your delta V, to change your orbit, to get it up close to the moon. You've done it. You did the effort. You've done your imaginal work. Woo! Now you kind of sit back and you're waiting for inspired action. You're waiting for something to do. Now, once you get up close to the moon's up here and you're coming up close to it, you've actually got to do work up here so you don't just go sailing by the moon. You actually have to now slow down a little bit while you're by the moon so the moon's gravity captures you and now you're orbiting the moon. So you did this effort to get yourself close to your thing, to your goal, to your desire, the thing I keep telling you to focus on. Keep focusing on going around the moon. Keep focusing on orbiting the moon. That does not mean that once you get close to the moon, you're not going to have to do something. You are absolutely going to have to do something. Relationships, especially, are meant to evolve both people. There's no way this is just going to be a simple hunky-dory. If you're in a shell and you don't want to come out of it, I almost promise you that's going to be required. It is one of those things that's meant to enhance us as humans, as souls. So if this relationship is anything at all like you believe it is, and like you're telling me it is, then there's probably going to be a little bit of a delta V changing in velocity by the moon, by your target. And that's okay, and that's awesome. I'm not saying a lot. Like I said, smile. And a hi. Say hi. Hola. Say something. Don't have to be crazy. Don't have to go, so I was stalking you the other day and I noticed you like going to the post office every day at 3:30. Why is that? Like, that's not what you want to say for your first conversation. Probably don't want to say something like, yeah, I noticed you live with your mom. That's kind of weird, huh? Like, no, don't make the person feel strange. But what you can say is, hi, how are you today? Boom. What you've now done is opened up conversation. Maybe they're a little nervous. Maybe they're afraid to approach you. Maybe you're so attractive, so beautiful in their eyes that they're intimidated by you. You've put all this effort and energy towards how great you feel. Understand that that kind of sometimes creates an energy where some other people can be a little intimidated. It's okay. That's awesome. We're all a little scared. They are too. So why is it fair to make them have to burden all of that when you actually are trying to create this too? And for the most part, maybe you're the only one that's trying to create it. So you need to give it a little, give it a little kick in the pants, a little delta V when you get up by your target. So say hi. When they're behind you in the car, smile at them. Look at them, hi. Unless they're walking out with a crowbar, then punch it. Get the hell out of Dodge. But, you know, if that's, well, unless they're trying to help you with your tire, but still, it's a little creepy to come out with a crowbar, right? That's like so 1950s in the United States. It's horrible. You don't want that to happen. So again, when you get yourself to that place, help a little. Sometimes you're going to be driving. Oh, something happened. You made a wrong turn. They're detouring you. Oh, it's going to take me longer to get to Starbucks. And then all of a sudden you end up showing up at Starbucks and your specific person jumps in behind you in line. Turn around, smile, say hi. You have to. It's your job. Inspired action, when it's right there, trust me, that's inspired action. Trust me. Even if you don't feel anything, trust me. But I'm scared. I know. You have to crawl through that fear, especially when it's an irrational fear. And we all can agree that that's an irrational fear. Being afraid when I've had to go up on stage and perform is an irrational fear. It's rational in the sense of, yeah, you're standing before a bunch of people. It's irrational in that there is no fear for my safety. Unless I'm doing a political speech here in the United States, right? That could be dangerous. You never know who you're going to piss off, right? But normally speaking, talking about nice stuff like loving people and being good like that, probably not going to offend too many people. And yeah, don't really have a whole lot to be worried about. What if you fail? Meh. What if they don't like you? Meh. I mean, none of these things are going to cost you your life. It's an irrational fear. These are ego fears, if you will. These are things like, oh, my feelings might get hurt. Yeah, they might. They really might. But I'll tell you what, you're never going to grow in life if you don't try to push out of your boundaries. Your boundaries are holding you back. You want something that's outside of your boundaries, your gravity, outside of the Earth's rotation. You want that. You need to give a little effort here, and you're going to need to give a little effort up here. Once you get there, probably going to have to throw a little effort down as well. Law of attraction, the waiting, the sitting in the recliner, that's kind of the in-between when you're just kind of letting your velocity get you to your destination. Once you get close You're going to have to adjust. You're going to have to make some changes. You're going to have to do an effort. Now, sometimes they've called it sun energy and moon energy. Oddly, I'm using earth and moon, but still similar in the concepts. But the energies are doing and receiving. And from most everything I've been able to understand, and in a lot of the things I've read that are not just Hicks, not just Goddard, not just like a lot of stuff that I've read throughout the years, always talks about balance. Everything's about balance. Seems to be a real common undertone in just about every bit of spiritual teaching there is. I'll reference just as a very popular and something that's managed to make it thousands of years, I think, but yin and yang or yin and yang, depending on how you're supposed to say it. The little bit of good and evil and a little bit of bad and good. That little swirly thing, the Asian-y, it's usually white and black with little bits of colors mixed on the other sides, right? Little circles. That's kind of what everything seems to work out. It seems to balance. So many of us want to just, everything needs to just keep going up and up. Life seems to be balancy. For me, I want a kind of a steadier sort of progression, but I don't need the big spikes and valleys. I don't like all that. I just like, let's just keep chilling and going and cruising, and I'm enjoying it, right? Throw on the cruise control, heading down the highway, great music in the thing and the CD player or the MP3 or whatever the hell, right? Whatever you're playing, right? Or playing music, right? You're just cruising. It's a road trip. We're having fun. We know it's going to take a while to get here, but we prepared for this. We're going to have fun along the way. We're going to make the best of every bit of this journey. But then eventually, you're going to pull up to your place, and maybe you have to set up camp. Maybe you have to unpack the car and get it all in the hotel room, like whatever, right? Maybe whatever the case is, there's a little bit of effort once you get there. For the most part, it's a chill game on the way, and you had to load the car before you left. There's going to be effort. So when it's time to act, and it's one of those sort of obvious times, and I think a lot of us do this, they're right in front of you. I know you're shy. That is not, by the way, not an acceptable reason. If you're shy, you need to break through that shyness. I was scared to go on stage. Still freaks me out, but I do it, and I know it, and I know what I'm expecting, and I know what happens when you do it. But it scares you, and when you haven't done it, it's super scary. I know. The only way you ever know what's on the other side of that veil is by walking through it. There's a lot of things in life that you have to walk through to know. But the thing that you want is on the other side of that veil. You gotta walk through. It's part of our evolution. It's not just about manifesting stuff. It's about expanding our lives, our consciousness, our awareness, who we are, what we are. Being a better version of you at every day. Try to increment that out. That's really what it's about. Manifesting is part of that interaction with the universe, part of that understanding that we are here to create. We are creators. This universe is abundant and is here to help us, however we desire. And a lot of us just have a hard time focusing our desires in places that benefit us. We like to focus our desires on things we don't want to experience so we can experience more of them and prove to ourselves, yeah, no, that absolutely sucks. I don't want to keep experiencing that thing. Damn it, I keep experiencing more of that damn thing and I hate it. I know. You get yourself in a spiral. What about that thing you'd like to experience? That's what I tell people when they're like, well, this is happening wrong and this is happening wrong and this is happening wrong. What do I do? I'm like, what do you want to happen? Well, this is what I'd like to happen. Good. Tell me more about that. That's the trick. That's the secret. None of this other stuff matters. But to finish up the point I originally have, even though I still think there's nuggets along the way. Some people got mad at me the other day for rambling, but whatever. That's what I do. So hopefully you like it. When we get to the end of the day, a little bit of action is going to be required before and after. It's just part of that balance. It's okay though. Work through it. See it as the victory it is. Smile. It is a very disarming thing socially. You can do it in just about any culture, right? I don't speak a lick of Chinese, but I could go into China and get off an airplane and find someone that speaks zero English and smile at them and probably accomplish something, right? They're at least going to maybe try to help me or smile back, but at least they're not going to pull out a knife and stab me. They might, but still, they might smile too doing it. Whatever. Smiling's a powerful thing. And then just say hi. Hey, how you doing? Nice to see you. Hope you're having a good day. Something. Disarming, mellow, no intention behind it more than just breaking the ice. Bust that ice. Throw that ice pick in that ice. Make it all chunky. Throw some chunks in that ice, Make it good. Enjoy it. Hopefully this gets you guys from A to B. Remember, I get so many comments. You guys are so close. You just did it. You accomplished it. And then you're like, yeah, it didn't actually fall right on my lap. It hit part of my knee. Almost got my lap. Oh, next time, universe. It needs to be better. It's like, dude, universe just totally did you a favor. Be looking out for it. Dan Radio Style.